Hello, YouTube. How are we all doing today? Hope everyone's having a great start to their weekend. My weekend has started off pretty well. It's Saturday, so as you guys know, on Saturdays I talk about my progress of the socks I'm currently making. And to show you, here are the knitting needles with my little stoppers on it, and the needles are empty. They would only be empty for one of two reasons regarding me. One, I had to rip them out because I made a major mistake. And if you guys have been following me for any length of time, especially with sock yarn because it's so thin and it's little needles, if I've got to rip it out because I've made a mistake, I've never been really good at picking the stitches back up to put back on my knitting needles. So I end up tearing them completely out and starting over. That was not the case. The reason my needles are empty is because my socks are in my hands and the ends are all sewn in. I know that's a shocker and a half for those of you who've been following my channel for a while. You know me, I show the project as finished minus the ends being sewn in. Nope, I've actually got the ends all sewn in. So here's the front of the socks. So just a little mini cuff, short leg, the feet, the toes. And where I was last week, I took the stitch marker out because this is attempt 2 recording. I'll explain that in a second. And then the back of the leg, the little heels, and then the rest of the foot. So yeah, I was almost done recording, and I had a little pop-up come on my screen for someone who was going live. I thought I clicked on the cancel, close button, whatever, and no, the video or her live popped up and it started going and I couldn't get it shut off quick enough. And my videos, I post them as is, bloopers and all, and that I didn't want in my video, so I thought, okay, let's just stop the recording and start over. So, my opinions on these socks. I like the vanilla sock, doing the cuff down 2 at a time, not that hard. I think the next pair I'm going to try and find a pattern, or hopefully my stitch count will work, for maybe a 2x2 rib. Just because all the socks I've made have all been 1x1 ribs, so I'm thinking a 2x2 rib would be nice. Now all the socks I've made to this point, which is 4 pair, they've all been just the plain knit vanilla sock. So there's no special stitches, it's just knit round and round and round and round. There's no lace work, no cable work, nothing fancy, just straight knit. So we call them vanilla socks. Now, I've made a few different versions of vanilla sock. The very first pair I made were cuffed down, and the heel that I used was the heel flap turn and gusset, I believe is how it's called. I do not like the way they fit on my feet. They do not feel comfortable. I do not like them. I will wear those socks because I'm proud of them. You know, very first pair of socks I ever made. But not a fan of that heel. I will not do that heel again. Second pair of socks I made, I did them toe up, which is my preferred method because it's easier for me, I find, to try the sock on as I go through the foot part of the pattern or the sock. And then I'm at the right spot for the heel, and I know for the length of my foot it's going to fit me really nicely. I did a pair of rainbow toe-up socks last year, I think it was. Last year or the year before? I think it was last year. I'd have to go check my videos and see. But when I got to the cuff section, I had to do the socks twice, just so you know. Because I thought, oh, they're perfect, I love them, blah, blah, blah. And I casted off the cuff. I went ahead and sewed my ends in. And again, like I just explained, if I've got to rip it out and re-pick up stitches, I'm not very good at that. And I bound off, and it was way too tight. I couldn't get it over my heel by no means. So they got ripped out and remade. Again, toe to cuff. I watched a video on how to make the cuff so that they're a little more of a stretchier cuff. And they turned out okay, but because I had ripped them out a couple times the yarn wasn't playing very nice by the time I was done. The yarn had given up, I guess is a good way to put it. And first or second time I washed them, they started to fall apart. So I don't have those socks anymore. They are in the garbage. There's a few different holes in both socks. It wasn't just one, there was both of them. And I thought, what the heck? Like, I didn't tie on yarn or anything in those spots. So I just, the yarn quit on me. Then the last pair of socks I made, which were done, I think, cuff. Actually, I'm not even sure how those ones were done because I'm thinking they were done possibly toe up. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at them and see if I could tell them apart. I just know I only made one at a time. And as I like to call it, I have pairitis. So if it's an item that there's a pair to be made, who knows when or if the second one will get made. So referring to socks, mittens, sleeves for sweaters, unless it's being made for someone else other than me, or it's something I'm making to sell, I'll get them both done. But if they're for me, I'm no big rush. They'll get done when they get done, and that is that. Well, the last pair of pink ones I made the one, and then for the longest time they sat around, or it sat around, and I guess at some point I must have taken the needles and put them away, and then I pulled out a pair of needles thinking I pulled out the right ones, and no, I did not. And I'm pretty sure I recorded some of that because by then I was definitely doing YouTube. And I don't think I ever mentioned what size of knit needles I was using. So I went to do the second sock. I just assumed I had the right needle because the stitches I'm pretty sure are the exact same. It's just one sock is definitely bigger than the other. Now, since I've got empty needles, I'm ready to start next pair of socks. Well, I decided I do not want vanilla socks. Like I said, I've made 4 pair now. It's pretty simple, like mindless, other than paying a little bit of attention to the heel and the cuff. Other than that, it's pretty simple, and I like doing 2 at a time. So the yarn I got last year for Christmas, which is this yarn here, and the label I already took off because it was falling apart, is it's called Funny Feet. And it was a pretty neat yarn. It came in multiple colorways. This one here, the striping there's 2 turning points for the stripes. So you'll start with, say, a green, and then there's a gray, a charcoal gray, black color, blue, and then there's charcoal gray, then purple, then charcoal gray, and a thin line of pink, and then the gray, and then back to the purple, and then gray, and back to the blue, and then gray, and you're back to the green. So I'm okay with one cuff being whatever color, like the gray and the blue, say, and then the other cuff, which would obviously be the green and the gray, because the green's the other end here. Actually, nope, that's the starting. I'm not sure what the outside color is. And I'm okay with them being striped, but not starting at the same color point and going in the same direction. So I'm okay with that. Now this is a 100-gram ball. So obviously I need about 50 grams per sock. I don't have a scale. I have determined that the next little bit of PayPal I get or Amazon I get to hold on to it so I have enough. And I'm going to purchase, probably via Amazon, a little kitchen scale so that if I were to cake this up, I could easily weigh the hank weigh the yarn as it is in its full entirety, and then start caking it up, and then weigh it again until I get to that halfway point. And then I know, okay, the 2 cakes will be the same size. Give it a snip and go to town, and then I'll have 2 separate ones. When I made the pink ones I just made, I had the yarn caked up already, and I work from the inside and the outside at the same time. It can be done. It's just every so often you gotta kind of make sure you got your stoppers on the needle, hold it from coming from the yarn supply, and separate the yarn a little bit and then kind of dangle it and just let your yarn untangle. But it can be done. Now, like I said, I don't want to do vanilla socks this round, so we'll have to wait and see what pattern I decide to use. I've been looking at a couple new YouTubers I found that cater to a lot of socks, so hopefully I'll find something that's either got maybe a cable going up it, or a bit of lace work, or some kind of funky texture. You never know, right? So if you want to see how these socks turn out and you're new to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, turning on notifications to all. That way when I post a video, which I try and do pretty much every day of the week, but you at least know when they're up and going. Tomorrow's video is for my project for my head to toe winter knits book that I do have a poll on my channel. So if you want to go over there and put a vote in, you're more than welcome to. It's under my post. There's actually 2 different polls I have up, 3 items per. One is for my head to toe winter knits book, and one is for my amigurumis I'm making. So I can't wait to see what projects are the winners and what I get to make next. The socks I'm not going to put on as of today. I'll wait till next Saturday to get these ones started. Figure give my hands and eyes a break from doing socks till next week. Especially like I said, the thinner yarn. Next Saturday I probably won't be very far in them. I am so sorry about that. Someone's doggy out there is not too happy. The joys of living in an apartment, everybody. Anyways, I won't be super far into the socks next week because it's my husband's 50th birthday coming up this upcoming week. So on the weekend, on Saturday, we are going out to celebrate his 50th birthday. So they will be casted on. How far they will be, I honestly can't tell you. I don't know. So anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. If you're new and you would love to see different things I am making, please consider hitting that subscription button, turning on notifications to all. It's free for you guys to do. And I hope you guys enjoy what I make. And I will catch you guys all later. Have a good day, everybody.